Well, friends of Mundo Maldini, let's analyze what this Celta 2, Barca 2 has been. A tremendous match, a match that Barca had won in the final stretch, but a serious error by Kounde, along with many other things that I will analyze in this video. But fundamentally, the red card for Casado and Kounde's serious mistake brought Celta back into the game. That is the moment of Alfonso's goal, and then Celta, in that final push against 10 players, soon after equalized, and in the end, had the chance to even win it with that back heel shot from Borges Iglesias. It is true, friends of Mundo Maldini, that Barca, with a score of 0-2, had the shot hitting the post, which could have made it 0-3 and sealed the match. Raphinha had the shot hitting the post, and he had a good game. There is much to discuss about the match, whether the draw is fair or not. There have been several controversial plays that I want to analyze. One that perhaps should have been a red card for Gerard Martin. What Robert Lewandowski did, what Gavi did in his return after the election in an important starting match. Certainly Gavi's actions, the mistakes from Celta, the mistakes from Barca. Many things to analyze from this Celta 2, Barca 2. Come on, let's go. Well, friends of Mundo Maldini, you already know that we sponsor the city of Ceuta, which is amazing here on your channel, Mundo Maldini. I am in the area of the Royal Walls, which is spectacular. This is the navigable area. It is a true marvel. And these walls endured the longest siege in the history of humanity, 33 years. You can still see the impacts. This area is impressive. You have to visit Ceuta and especially this area, the Royal Wall. Well, let's go, friends of Mundo Maldini. Barca had the match practically resolved, especially in the second half. The match, Celta had made many mistakes at the back and was practically dead physically. They couldn't go on. Giraldes made changes, and it's true that little by little the team started to recover in the final stretch, but especially the goal from Alfonso on February 1st, when there was very little time left. And from there, Barca, with one player less, ended up suffering. And it's true that the draw, let's see, if we analyze the entire match, then we will look at the flash score figures. If we analyze the entire match, we can't say that the draw is unfair, honestly, because Celta had more clear goal chances than Barca. But it's true that Barca had the match won with a score of 0-2 and with that shot off the post by Raphinha. This is Raphinha's first goal, which is a mistake by Mingueza. The truth is that the match has been, at many moments, a succession of defensive errors, quite serious mistakes. Defensive because Mingueza made two mistakes on both of Barca's goals. Also, a mistake by Starsfeld on Barca's second goal. Raphinha takes advantage of it very well. Of course, the first goal is taken by Lewandowski, the second goal as well. But Kounde's mistake is very serious. And, well, when so many mistakes are made, the match can go either way. This is Barca's first draw, by the way, in this league championship. The truth is that Celta seemed practically dead in the second half, and in the end, they have resurrected. I want to analyze quite a few things. First, as we always do, let's go. The lineups, friends of Mundo Maldini. Here we have Celta. They have started with Guaita in goal, along with Javi Rodriguez, Starfeld, and Marcos Alonso. Today, Mingueza played on the left, and he was frankly bad. A really poor match from Mingueza. Hugo Alvarez, who I liked a lot, scored a great goal on the right wing. Hugo Alvarez in the three-man defense as a wing-back, getting forward quite a bit, Frank Beltran and Moriba. And now I'll mention something about Gavi with Bamba. A very weak match from Gamba Aspas, who had quite a few good moments. And Dubicas was also very poor in attack for Celta. Aspas had some moments, and Dubicas and Bamba were frankly poor, hardly appearing at all. Iñaki Peña in goal for Barca with Kounde. Well, Kounde's match was horrible, of course. Cubarsí with Inigo Martinez, who I liked, and Gerard Martin. I'm going to talk about him now, but the truth is he was very poor and should have been sent off, honestly, for that second yellow. Now, we talk about the possible penalty play, but certainly beyond the penalty play, which we will discuss now, Gerard Martin, the truth is that the second play is clearly a second yellow, and logically, Flick quickly substituted him at the start of the second half for Ford, who came in on the left wing. They would have surely sent off Casado and Pedri in the double pivot. Pedri seemed a bit weaker with the ball. And then Raphinha, who I liked a lot on the right with Daniel Mo on the left, but he often moved inside because in the second half, when Ford came in, he did get quite a bit down the left wing. And then Gavi with Lewandowski. Gavi's choice was logical because he was very attentive when he received from Frank Beltran. Gavi has been constantly pressing. He is the best the Barca has when it comes to pressing, which Barca does very well, of course. But Gavi's pressing has been perfect. That's why I believe that today the big news for Barca is that they couldn't win the match, of course. He had it very well, but he couldn't win it. The big news is Gavi's good form. I think Gavi had a very good match in what is expected from him in pressing, recovery, work, intensity, and also, of course, with the ball. I believe Gavi has been quite good. I think Gavi's performance is great news. One might have expected Fermin to start, who then came in during the final stretch of the match. And then, another detail I want to mention, and tomorrow we will make a wide scout video to look at it a bit more in depth, is that Barca's high defense is starting to be caught. We will explain this tomorrow with several plays, but midfielders clearly arriving from the second line, starting from very deep. Deep enough that Barca can no longer prevent them from being onside and receiving through balls. Ais Moriba has done it several times. There have been 3 or 4 plays. They have also broken through the right wing several times. 3 or 4 plays in which they have indeed broken through Barca's high defense. And this, logically, teams already know. They are studying it, they are practicing it, and they are improving with it. Speaking of improvement, what Raphinha is doing is spectacular. What Raphinha did today has also been fantastic in several plays. The goal is a mistake by Mingueza in the calculation, but then the control he makes, the cut with the control, and the shot with his left foot have been fantastic. He sent a ball to the post with his right foot that would have made it 3-0. Raphinha is in great form, and I think he has been one of the best for Barca, perhaps along with Inigo Martinez, who I liked quite a bit, and I liked Gavi. He has gone from less to more. Clearly, Dani Olmo, especially when he left the left wing and moved much more inside, has done quite a bit better. But we have not seen anywhere near Dani Olmo's best game. It is true that Casado makes that mistake with the foul on Ais Moriba, who was going to be left alone once again. Casado's expulsion is, I insist, because Barca's high defense has been caught a bit, and Ais Moriba has done it well several times, one of which was the play leading to Casado's expulsion, because Moriba was left alone one-on-one. I don't know if Casado with a yellow card should have allowed Moriba to be one-on-one, who then has to score, obviously against Iñaki Peña, who has been quite good, by the way. 2 details. This is the play of the possible penalty by Gerard Martin on Iago Aspas. Martin already had a yellow card. It's a play quite on the edge. He had let the ball go a little behind. But I think Gerard Martinez with his right arm does push Aspas a little. The play is very borderline. In the Cope broadcast, I said that they could have perfectly called a penalty, and I sincerely believe that a penalty could have been given. And if a penalty is called, it is evident that the referee understands it as a foul. And if the referee understands it as a foul, it is a red card for Gerard Martin, at least as a second yellow. That is a reality. Here we have the arm. It is true that he pushes just as he had let the ball go behind. Aspas had already arrived. Play is very borderline, but if he is sent off, it is not crazy at all. As you know, in this case, VAR does not intervene because it is a debatable play. It is a debatable play. I think it could be a penalty, but it is a debatable play. It's very borderline, honestly. And then it is true that in this play, which here logically, if we don't see the image, but it is a second yellow card play, Gerard Martin goes down with Iago Aspas, and the second yellow, for me, was clear. He is right to be angry because the second yellow is clear, but you know that second yellow cards are not considered in VAR. And this is something that I think VAR should improve, honestly. So this man, Gerard Martin, who we are seeing here, I think he probably should not have finished the match. Logically, he was quickly substituted for Ford, and from there, Barca was no longer on the edge, staying with 10. Then they would be down due to Casado's position. 2 teams that have played very close to the edge, especially defensively. 2 teams that have pushed their defense up a lot, taking many risks, and Barca took advantage of that. Barca, by the way, is another error by Mingueza on the second goal. Here we have another error by Mingueza on the second goal. And in the end, it's a chain error by Mingueza and Starfield, who tries to clear it but does so poorly. The ball falls to Robert Lewandowski, who scores another goal, which is truly spectacular from Robert Lewandowski. There is a lot to discuss about this match. I want you to also see friends from Mundo Maldini. Let's see. Hear the joy of Robert Lewandowski. I want us to look at some data with our friends from Flash Score. We already have this Celta 2, Barca 2, because of course Celta has taken 15 shots. Here you have it. It's 15 shots from Celta and 8 shots on target from Celta compared to 4 from Barca. That is to say, if we analyze the entire match, I know that Barca had the match won. They were up 0-2. Celta was very calm, honestly seemed dead, practically dead. But you know that in football, suddenly a goal can revive a team. And that goal was scored by Alfonso due to Kounde's error. But if we analyze the entire match, Celta has shot more on target. Barca has been facing quite a bit of danger lately, and I think Flick needs to reconsider a few things. Let's see if he does or not. But I insist. I believe it has been evident today that Barca is indeed facing a lot of danger in the last matches. Let's see what happens in the next match against Brest, and let's see what happens in the next match against Unión Deportiva Las Palmas. You will have videos, of course, of both matches. I was saying that Pedri has seemed a bit weaker with the ball to me, a bit weaker playing in the double pivot, and I have seen him somewhat worse. You can't always play at the high level that Pedri usually plays. It has been the match of gifts, of defensive gifts. In the end, a 2-2 draw is Barca's first point. Barca's first draw of this season with Giraldez. A 2-2 draw before the match was a quite acceptable result for Barca, logically also for Celta, but obviously with a 0-2 lead with so little time left, Barca cannot be at all happy with this draw. Let's see what happens tomorrow. I will be at Leganés, and you will have a video from the stadium of Leganés, Real Madrid, and the big news for Barca, the return of Gavi, without a doubt. The bad news is the mistakes of Kounde, that the feeling of the defense is starting to catch up with him a bit more. Celta rescues a point and will surely celebrate that point, logically, because they should have lost the match. And I insist I end with this image of Gavi, which is the big news for Barca. Gavi's return at a very good level. Hug. Bye, 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 bye.